You're live. You're live. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my. Oh right. Hmm. Hmm. That could be a fun versus. The love of goat versus fish. Welcome. Welcome to Goat versus Fish. Hmm. Hmm. Strange versus. We're just getting beginning now. We're just getting beginning now. Ah, we have a like on goat versus fish. That means it's a public versus. It's a public versus. You can see goat versus fish. You can see goat versus fish. Welcome. Welcome to another walking around with goat versus fish. After the morning motivational with Shrimpy Mo, Liz Vega, and Sunshine, Goat versus Fish enjoyed the rest of Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish rested for 3 hours was the rest of Goat versus Fish. And now we feel like we have to get moving again. Just like you're moving through, fast, 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 fast. You're moving, 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 moving. Scrolling, 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 finding, looking, searching, scrolling, flicking, moving, scrolling, flicking, moving, scrolling, flicking, moving. Well, you found it. Hi, Mason Mesa. Hi, Psycho Grandma. Hi, Cat Chronic. Cat Crochet. Mason Mesa. Canada Rami Psycho Grandma. You found it. Those of you who have been fed goat versus fish by the algorithm, maybe for once in the algorithm's fancy existence, it has actually shown you something worth watching. Maybe so. Or maybe you are just someone that the algorithm said, hey, I don't know what to do with you. Your mind, it's so pure and untainted by our false divisions. We have no way to profit from you. We have to send you to goat versus fish. It's the only thing left. You've rejected all of our other advances. All that's left is goat versus fish. It's the only possible thing. It's the only possible thing you could want to watch. Goat versus fish are our only hope. And you are the only hope of goat versus fish. Because you're the only one here with goat versus fish. Everyone else is fence. But not you. But not you. Are you tired of every other YouTuber telling you that you're special? Well, that's because they don't really mean it, but Goat vs. Fish really means it. We really mean it. You can see the love in our eyes. Look, see? See, you can see the love in the eye of Goat vs. Fish. It's rather obvious. Hercules, goat, celebration for goat. Cat Crochet, goat, celebration for goat. How long have you been live? We have only been live for 5 minutes and 18 seconds. You seem like a guy I could smoke weed and play Magic the Gathering with. Well, Sensual Sloth, that might be the most goat versus fish thing that you've ever said to goat versus fish. Mountain goat. Mountain goat. Mountain goat. One red for a 1-1 mountain walk. One red and 1 for a 2-2 mountain walk. One red and 2 for a 2-2 mountain walk. Island fish Gisconius. Leviathan. Merfolk. There's other goat cards. BBDH1875, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Thumbs up if you like this living stream. Celebration in advance. In advance. Farm Goat. There's probably a card called Farm Goat. Yes, this is now a Magic the Gathering conversation stream. What are your favorite goat and fish Magic the Gathering cards? Of course, there are walls. Those are like fences. They can't attack. Goat vs. Fish is not here to attack you. 1922 viewers, yes, you have found Goat versus Fish, and the one true question is, are you goat or are you fish? There's nothing else like it on YouTube. You can stop scrolling now, or you can scroll away in defiance, like you have something to prove. What do you have to prove? Tell us in the congregation, tell us in the chat, what do you have to prove? Go on, we're waiting. We want to know. This is a conversation. What do you have to prove? Cat Crochet says, goats are one of my family favorite animals, so I choose goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for choosing goat. Celebration for choosing goat. BBDH187 fish. 1875 fish. Celebration for fish. Whom amongst you was here? Who amongst you was here for the Goat vs. Fish morning motivational with Shrimpy Mo and Liz Vega this versus? Tell us, how did you like the Goat vs. Fish morning motivational? Pitiably, Chip Nicholson was not there, but they'll come by in other verses. When you start the morning motivational so early, sometimes they just don't show up. Sometimes they don't show up. That's part of the challenge of Goat vs. Fish, to keep showing up. Red eyes indeed. And you keep showing up. You keep showing up for Goat versus Fish. Yes, you do. Cat Crochet watched the morning motivation. Well, what did you think? Tell us about it. Tell us about our guests. Tell us about our guests. What did you say? What do you do? Goat versus Fish. We got our cable back. We got our cable. We got a new cable, so we're back on the mic. We're back on the golden mic. Where was the comedian? The comedian overslept. The comedian overslept somewhere. Liz Vega. Yes, Liz Vega. Liz Vega was a fun bonus versus. Perhaps it was meant to be. Perhaps it was meant to be. Dragon Balls. Pink Eyes of Goat versus Fish. Yes, look. You see the love of Goat versus Fish. You see the love of Goat versus Fish in our eyes. It's a small versus. It's a small versus. It's a filtration they put upon Goat versus Fish, but why not? Why not enjoy a little filtration of Goat versus Fish? It doesn't seem like the kind of thing that Goat versus Fish would do, which is exactly why Goat versus Fish would do it, just to surprise you. Just to surprise you. And then when we get here, we get this kind of like creepy verses here. The creepy blinking eyes of Goat versus Fish. The algorithm tries to fence with you, so you just fence back with the algorithm. It's like, what do we do? What do we do? Goat versus Fish loves you. 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 Karmic, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Who like surprises, even especially perhaps creepy surprises. Kawaii, kawaii, kawaii. Yagi versus Sakana kawaii desu. Chou kawaii desu yo. Oh, Psycho Grandma's getting cutesy on Goat versus Fish. Whoa, whoa. That's one hydration. That's one hydration. Okay, back to this versus. And we're back on the mic. We're back on the strong mic. The algorithm started really pushing pretty heavy there at Goat versus Fish. We were getting 22 viewers for a brief versus there. They come through, they swipe, they leave. Some choose to stay. It seems in a rare versus that some choose to stay. One of these verses, Goat versus Fish, we're going to do a YouTube vertical versus. And we'll just get some fence sitters. We'll just pay some fence sitters some monetization, and we'll just tell them, hey, we just want you to get on here, and we want you to just shake your posteriors right at the camera. And then Goat versus Fish will go live and just be Goat versus Fish. And everyone scrolling will say, whoa, I think I want to watch that. And you say, wait, you may have thought you came here for the jiggly butts, but actually you're here for enlightenment. Jiggly butt enlightenment. An object that is at fence tends to stay at fence, which is why shaking your rump is a great way to get off of it. You gotta move it. When will the Goat versus Fish cathedral be built? I want to look like those gaudy Mormon ones. Well, the Goat versus Fish temple is being built. We've got shrines to Goat versus Fish. We've got shrines. We've got temples, and we suppose there could be a cathedral to Goat versus Fish. There could be a mosque to Goat versus Fish. There could be a church to Goat versus Fish. There are all kinds of verses of Goat versus Fish. In many ways, we simply call it a place of Goat versus Fish. By popular demand, we are calling it a temple or a church of Goat versus Fish, but really it is just a place. It is really just another place for the Goat and Fish to achieve congregation in the verses. I can do it, says Psycho Grandma 6. Excellent. We're going to do it together. Here, we're going to have a temple of Goat versus Fish here in the garage. That's true. That's true, but we think that one of these verses will have a bigger place, a grander place. You see how well we're packing in the studio of Goat versus Fish now. Imagine if we had twice the space and twice the place. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it with your help. Goat versus Fish is going for a long verses, but we did not start calling the congregation of Goat versus Fish the congregation until a recent verses. Somewhere around where the morning motivational began. We struggled for a long verses. We thought, what do we call the chat of Goat versus Fish? What do we call everyone? Chat seems... You are chatting with Goat versus Fish, we do not deny it, but any fence sitter who streams can have themselves a chat. And so we thought, what do we call them? Taylor Swift has Swifties. So what do we call Ourselves, well, we've got the goat and fish. This was always the verses. Well, there's goat and there's fish. The goat and fish. That was the verses. But we like congregation. Are you a member of the congregation? Are you a congregation member? And of course, there can be the goat congregation and the fish congregation. The goat congregation and the fish congregation can have their own verses. You say, when is there going to be a cathedral to goat versus fish? We say, here we are going to make a temple of goat versus fish, and we say unto you, when are the goat going to have a temple and then the fish also a temple? It's a double verses. Now you can put both the goat temple and the fish temple within the temple of goat versus fish. But imagine when we have the church of goat and the church of fish, and they are both preaching and teaching about goat versus fish, but one is from the perspective of goat and one is from the perspective of fish. That would be very goat versus fish. Goat versus fish, Cat Crochet, indeed. Indeed, goat versus fish, Bud Morgan, yes. Canada Rami says, I like this cult. We do not deny your perception of goat versus fish. You can't say culture without cult. Goatsies, well, you can't say not Goatsies. Goatsies was one of the original internet goat. There's no denying it. Goat versus fish to you, Dragon Balls. Cat Crochet says goat versus fish. This is how it goes. You see, goat versus fish had to learn this Spanglish way of speaking to all of you so that you could understand goat versus fish. But eventually, we will transcend, you will transcend, and we will be able to speak to one another by simply saying goat versus fish, and the whole universe will open up to us. And everyone will just be saying goat versus fish, and everyone will understand everyone, and we will live in a great and beautiful universe. Just look how it's going now. Everyone's not saying goat versus fish. Well, not everyone's not saying goat versus fish. You're saying goat versus fish, but there are so many who are not saying goat versus fish, and look at what they're getting up to out there in the world. It's not looking great. It's not looking great at all. Hippie House says Tom Brady versus Kanye West. Hippie House, tell us about your house. We want to know all about your house. It's a house of hippies. Is it a house of peace? Is it a house of love? Is it a house of acceptance and warmth and joy? How long have you been preaching the gospel of goat versus fish? The more appropriate verses is, how long have you been preaching the gospel of goat versus fish? You see, I am goat versus fish, the goat fish, the unity and disunity of goat and fish. You have encountered goat versus fish. Goat versus fish tells you, the congregation, the true verses, and then you go out there and you preach the verses of goat versus fish. And it was written, and it was written. Goat versus fish has always been goat versus fish, and in the beginning there was goat versus fish. How long have we been preaching the gospel of goat versus fish? How long have you been preaching the gospel of goat versus fish? When are you going to go out and preach the gospel of goat versus fish? I'm still eating grilled cheese with sourdough bread. This is something to seriously contemplate. Dragon Balls 325, welcome to our moderation, says it has always been goat versus fish, and that's a true verses. That's a very true verses. About 5 years, about a month, 10,000. Goat versus fish has existed since the beginning, but it is often said that goat versus fish suddenly appeared in the Los Angeles comedy scene about 80 years ago. Can you believe? Can you believe it's been 80 years of goat versus fish? Versefully, goat versus fish appeared long before that. Goat versus fish remembers perhaps about 32 years ago, goat versus fish appeared in the mind of a child. Briefly. There were two in congregation, and Goat versus Fish appeared before them, and they laughed with joy about Goat versus Fish as they pondered the intense battle. And it is said that Goat versus Fish, though it was but a brief encounter, stayed with that child until they grew old. And just when they were weary of life and all of its strife, Goat versus Fish reappeared to them again. And they went out into the universe and started spreading the verses of Goat versus Fish. And soon the congregation was born, and it was a great celebration. Celebration and welcome to the congregation of Goat versus Fish. Are you goat? Or are you fish? You got on Kill Tony when you first started Legendary. It was about a year of Goat versus Fish when Goat versus Fish got on Kill Tony. But we already had, it was almost more versatile that Goat versus Fish had a podcast at the Comedy Store Los Angeles. Goat versus Fish had a podcast at the Comedy Store Los Angeles. Back in those verses. Thanks to Albamani, who we want to have on the morning motivational. Tony who, indeed. Goat, Cat Crochet, Goat, BBDA 275 Fish. Cat Crochet, it is so nice to see you back. You were here on a previous living stream, and so many, they come and they go, they fish and they goat. But you, we suspect Cat Crochet is going to be here in the congregation for a very long verses. We are so pleased. We are so pleased. Oh, you know what I forgot about? What up, congregation? Indeed, Psycho Grandma 6. Welcome yourselves to the congregation. Why be idle individual chatters when you could be speaking to and with one another in congregation? There are many live streamers out there. We will say this. There are many live streamers out there whom they prefer that the congregation does not have side conversation, that they only speak to Goat versus Fish. And we will not deny that there have been times when Goat versus Fish has admonished the congregation, particular congregation members, for having side conversation. But Goat versus Fish will admit that that was not truly about the side conversation. It was more about the subject of the verses. And there were some long-standing fences between Goat versus Fish and that one. Once there was a congregation member, they had been a member for a very long verses, but they started off very fancy to Goat versus Fish, very fancy to Goat versus Fish. You think Amber Heard is fancy? No, there was one who started off extremely fancy to Goat versus Fish. But in the long verses, they tried to control Goat versus Fish. And Goat versus Fish said, "This is the congregation of Goat versus Fish, and you can't tell Goat versus Fish how to do our verses." And they took offense at this. And they said, "I've been your biggest fan, Goat versus Fish. I've been your fan forever, Goat versus Fish. How could you do this?" But there was nothing to be said. There was nothing more to be done, so they abandoned Goat versus Fish. It broke the heart of Goat versus Fish, but that's okay. That's okay. Growing a congregation, fish by fish, goat by goat. Growing a congregation, fish by fish, goat by goat. It is not always as easy as you may seem. Some verses, there's verses. There's verses between the goat and fish, and sometimes the fence sitter wants to verses with Goat versus Fish. It's all fun and celebrations until someone takes offense at Goat versus Fish, and then it's like, "Oh, but I thought this was a joyous and beautiful celebration of existence, Goat versus Fish. I didn't realize that you were going to say something so mean." But Goat versus Fish, it can be a harsh verses. Sometimes it can be a harsh verses. It's true. But we do appreciate you. We do appreciate you being here, staying along with Goat versus Fish. And if that one were to return to the congregation of Goat versus Fish now, we would welcome them. We would welcome them as long as they were respectful to the congregation. Central Sloth says, "I remember that. Made a lot of friends in Goat versus Fish. Wild for offense." Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You often imagine Celebration Island. Yes, it is a place. It's a place we can go. Some say it's a promise of Goat versus Fish. It's a place we can go. All we fish and we goat. Celebration Island. When we think of a Festiversus of Goat versus Fish, Unification Fest sounds like a great name for a fest. But Celebration Island. Now, there is an island out there, did you know? As you know, there are many things in the universe and in the world that have taken inspiration from Goat versus Fish, even if they don't realize they have. And there is an island out there called Celebration Island. It's a small place. There is an island out there called Celebration Island. Celebration Island, verse me if I'm fenced, but Celebration Island, does it have the heads on it? Is that the one with the big heads? Something's going on Celebration Island. Perhaps there's not much. It might be some kind of Versmas thing where they were sailing about and they had no place to go and it was Versmas there or something, and so they call it Celebration Island. Or you still have Amber Heard. We still do, and we still can fix you. I can fix Amber Heard, said Goat versus Fish. I can fix Amber Heard. Easter Goat Island? No, we're talking about Celebration Island. There is an island out there called Celebration Island. And somewhere out there is a beach called Dead End Beach. If you go onto Maps apps, and you search for Celebration Island, you will find one. And you will also find a Dead End Beach somewhere. So Goat versus Fish should maybe travel to Celebration Island. We can fund a trip of Goat versus Fish, however many thousands of American dollars it will take, and we go and do a Goat versus Fish live stream from Celebration Island. And then we go to Dead End Beach and we do a Goat versus Fish Dead End Beach live stream. Goat versus Fish, did you know that I started following you 5 years ago today? Celebration! 5 years of Dragon Balls 325. This deserves versus a commemoration. This deserves versus a commemoration. 5 years of Dragon Balls 325. Commemoration time. Commemoration time. Commemoration celebration. Time for 5 years of Goat versus Fish. A 5-year celebration. 5 years of Goat versus Fish. 5 years of celebration. 5 years of celebration of Goat versus Fish. 5 years of celebration. 5 years of celebration. Five years. Five years of celebration. Let's ponder this. Let us ponder this. Does Goat versus Fish have any Dragon Balls verses? Oh. It wouldn't be in that verses, would it? That would be a fascination if it was. We'll go see. We'll go see. We'll go deep. We'll go deep into the Goat versus Fish dungeons, where relics from the past await Goat versus Fish that have not been seen or touched for a millennium. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Goat versus Fish. Einstein. Goat versus Fish. Aha! How about this? Just a random versus. Okay. We've done it. We found it, Dragon Ball 325. We have found an ancient relic of Goat versus Fish. Are you ready for the reveal? Are you ready for ancient relic reveal of Goat versus Fish that has not been seen, perhaps almost ever on Goat versus Fish? We have gone into the dungeons, into the very dungeons of Goat vs. Fish, and we have found an ancient relic to celebration your 5 years of Goat vs. Fish. Who in the congregation is ready? Ones in the congregation if you are ready. Ones in the congregation if you're ready for the ancient relic reveal. For the ancient relic reveal. Dragon Balls is ready. We got ones. Cat Crochet is ready. Inventive Harvest is ready. Psycho Grandma's ready for ancient relic reveal. Let's go to the shrine. Let's go to the shrine of Goat vs. Fish. And do the reveal. In celebration of 5 years of Dragon Balls 325. Ancient relic reveal. You can't wait, and it won't disappoint. It won't disappoint. Ancient relic reveal on Goat vs. Fish. Ancient relic reveal on Goat vs. Fish. Ancient relic reveal on Goat vs. Fish. Coming up. Anticipation. Enjoy your anticipation. Sometimes it's the best part of the verses. Okay, time for the ancient relic reveal. Some say this one is the goat. Others say Goat versus Fish. Some say that this one is the goat. Others say that all evidence points to Fish. But Dragon Balls has always been part of the congregation. And now, in celebration of 5 years of congregation of Dragon Balls 325, we offer this relic from the reliquary of Goat vs. Fish. Behold. Super Battle Collection Volume 27. Super Battle Collection Volume 27. Super Saiyajin Dragon Ball Z. Super Saiyajin vs. Vegeta. $4.99. $4.99. Psycho Grandma 6 cannot handle such amazing verse. Handle it! Why is hair gray, though? Well, it is an ancient verses. Why is hair gray? Well, listen, when you've been a congregation member for 5 years, maybe your hair will be gray, too. Don't judge. Don't judge Dragon Balls for having gray hair. We grow old. It happens. This is Dragon Balls 325, congregation member of Goat vs. Fish. 5 years. Super Battle versus. And there you have it. We think that it's time Yes, it's time to keep Super Saiyajin Vegeta out of the reliquary. Super Saiyajin in the box Vegeta is now out of the reliquary and is now in the congregation of Goat vs. Fish. Dragon Balls is a mod of Goat vs. Fish. They deserve versus the respect of the congregation. This relic is now out of the reliquary and is now in the congregation to be part of the services and shrines of Goat vs. Fish. How's that for a 5-year celebration? Is Celebration Island near Point Nemo? Maybe. Does it say Celebration Island on the map? Came a long way indeed, came a long way indeed. We were looking at some old Willytown verses. It was like 2020 Willytown. Somewhere around there. It's been a long versus since Willytown. There's been goat verses, there've been fish verses, there's even been fence verses. There's been unifications. But Goat vs. Fish persisted through it all, and you remained in belief of Goat vs. Fish, even when there were months at a time. Now some of you in the congregation see, Goat vs. Fish streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But there have been verses where Goat vs. Fish has not been live streaming for months. But something has changed this versus. The morning motivationals, you changed to Goat vs. Fish, as Goat vs. Fish has changed you. It's a brand new, brilliant, beautiful versus. Appreciation to you, Dragon Balls, appreciation. Salutation to Dragon Balls. Do they have a versus in here where we can... It does not seem so. We wanted to give Psycho Grandma 6 like special VIP-ness, but it's moderation or nothing, so there's nothing we can do. Perhaps after we have achieved monetization, there will be something we can do. Life happens. We grow wiser and stronger. We do. Dragon Balls 325 has grown wiser and stronger. Why, Dragon Balls 325 has grown so much wiser and stronger. Back when we met Dragon Balls 325, they were just a dumb weakling. And now they're a wise stronghead. We jest, of course. There's always some truth to the jesting of Goat vs. Fish. Do I brush my teeth with bleach, Goat vs. Fish? No, don't do that. Don't do that, Dragon Balls 325. Don't brush your teeth with bleach. Bud makes you wiser? Well, being buddies with Goat vs. Fish makes you wiser. Being with you guys is enough appreciation for me. I mean that. Appreciation, Psycho Grandma 6, the first member of the Unification Congregation. It does take extra verses, but we will have to update the Patreon's patroned end screen to reflect the Unification Congregation. To reflect the Unification Congregation. So we're thinking that maybe there are two more. Well, there can be as many tiers of Goat vs. Fish as we want. But maybe we make the 100 versus American dollar tier. Well, there could be all kinds of verses. There could be for 69 versus American dollars. For 69 versus American dollars, it's the elite unification tier, because of the 69 resembling the unification, and then for 6-7, it's like elite fence tier. But maybe we think for 100 versus American dollars a month, it's celebration tier. Big celebration, but it used to be that the celebration tier was 1 versus American dollar, but you could have You could have a Goat versus Fish 100 versus American Dollar tier, and then you have 101 versus American Dollars be the fence tier, you see. So it's like, oh, you want to be high on the fence? You want to be higher than the rest of the congregation? You have to be 101 versus American Dollars then. Just one little extra verses. You want to be in the fence tier? We would call it tiers of the fence. We'll call it tiers of the fence. And for 100 versus American Dollars a month on the Patreon of Goat versus Fish, you'll be the most celebration. You'll be the most celebration of goat and fish in the congregation. And you'll get all kinds of accolades, and you'll get all kinds of recognition and celebration for Goat versus Fish. But then for 101 versus American Dollars a month, you join the fence tier, the tiers of the fence. And it says to you, the fence tier bestows upon you no special recognition, no commendation. Your name will not be listed on the patrons list of Goat versus Fish at the end of videos. You will receive no special gratitude or thanks, except that which comes from within you. 101 versus American Dollars a month fence tier. Hey, you want to be on that fence? Buy all verses. If it's so important to you. All my Patreon money goes to RM Brown. Oh, we thought you were going to say that all of your Patreon money goes to RLM. Real ones know what Goat versus Fish is talking about. I had to put down my grilled cheese for this propaganda. Tiers of the fence. Why fence pay more? Psycho Grandma 6, can you please be explained to? Dragon Ball Street 25, why does the fence have to pay more? On Goat versus Fish? Tariff the fence. That's a fair enough versus. There have been enough fence sitters out there who want to make Goat versus Fish pay. Meanwhile, the chat, currently 11 viewers and 11 likes. It's fence, 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 fence. Goat and Fish, we had 42 minutes and 42 seconds, 11 viewers and 11 likes, getting high on the fence. Who out there is getting high on the fence this versus? Who's getting high on the fence? 420, 11, 11. Bud Morgan, are you Goat or are you Fish? An excellent versus and a nice contribution to the chat of the congregation. Grandma 6 says, you all need fence. We'll do the fence tier. We'll do the fence tier one of these verses. We think it would be unwise. We can't just have 100 versus American Dollars be the fence tier, so then they can gloat about how much verses they're spending. No, we have 100 versus American Dollars be the big celebration congregation, and then 101 is tiers of the fence. It's like, oh, you had to have more, didn't you? You just had to be so special. 101. 101. Binary. Is it 1? Is it 0? Is it 1? Can't decide. Up, down, up, down. Fence post. Fancy, fancy number. Don't fence me in. I just want to kiss my fish. Fence don't need to. Fence is stable structure too. Goat versus Fish. Fence should get a discount. Discount fence? Listen, you get what you pay for. If you want discount fence membership, Versby told me we would make a 1 versus American Dollar. We used to have 1 and 2 versus American Dollar tiers of Patreon, and we thought, well, the Goat and Fish, if they want to make a contribution, let it be as small as it needs to be. But we found that Patreon does not take much from Goat versus Fish, but at small versus American Dollars amount, there's a flat versus of like 50 cents or something. So a 1 versus American Dollar pledge, it's like, you know what? If you only have 1 versus American Dollar a month to give to Goat versus Fish, then Goat versus Fish gives it back to you. It's okay. It's okay. Goat versus Fish always insists that you take care of your own verses before you make your contributions to Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish wants you to be strong, healthy, and wise and long member in the congregation. And we want you to feel like, hey, my life is going great since I joined the congregation of Goat vs. Fish. And if Goat vs. Fish siphons away all of your hard-earned versus American dollars so that you cannot provide for your own congregation, then that would not be very verseful of Goat vs. Fish. That would be very selfish of Goat vs. Fish. And Goat vs. Fish wouldn't want to do that to you. Goat vs. Fish wants you to take care of your own verses. And once you have, and you've got those bonus verses around, then you give it all to Goat vs. Fish. Psycho Grandma 6 says, I got 99 problems and Goat vs. Fish ain't one. Well, ain't that a versus? Goat vs. Fish is feeling invigoration. We have the Ding Dong Show. Goat vs. Fish has the Ding Dong Show at the Comedy Store Los Angeles, this versus. So we'll have to be excusing ourselves at around 9. But we did promise ourselves that we would do some editing of Goat vs. Fish. We did promise ourselves we'd do some editing of Goat vs. Fish. Celebration, 5 versus American dollars for Goat. Appreciation, 5 versus American dollars for Goat. A notification from Goat vs. Fish. Dragon Balls 325 with 5 versus American dollars for Goat. Appreciation. Appreciation for Goat. Goat appreciation. Appreciation, Dragon Balls 325, for your 5 versus American dollar Cash App contribution to the congregation of Goat vs. Fish. Appreciation. Oh, you do, I'll watch? Oh, you can. What should Goat vs. Fish do for the Ding Dong Show this versus? Goat vs. Fish we could sing a classic song of Goat vs. Fish. We could sing Fish by Fish, Goat by Goat. We could just sing the classic verses. We could sing Fish Center Live. We could sing the Ode to Fish Center Live. We don't know, we don't know if we have sang the Ode to Fish Center Live at the Comedy Store Los Angeles. So maybe we shall. Maybe we'll just sing the song of Fish Center Live tribute at the Comedy Store. Do You Be Goat? We could always sing Do You Be Goat. It's an interesting verses. We have long been singing the song of Fish Center Live. As you know, there's another song out there that uses the same progression that's called Winchester Cathedral. And we wanted to say Fish Center Live because that was the name of the verses. And yet when we thought of Winchester Cathedral, we thought, wow, Winchester and Fish Center kind of have a similar verses, so why not just call it Fish Center Cathedral? Fish Center Cathedral. You're bringing me down. Pennsylvania? Oh, you'd like Pennsylvania. Sing Beat on the Brat? We've done that. Versus the goat, 'cause you are a fish. Oh, yeah. Oh. Goat versus fish. We're going to walk about for one more hour. One more 10 minutes. We could do one more 10 minutes. We have been saying to Sunshine, we want to publish the Valentine's Day verses, but we've never gotten around to finishing the final verses of the edit. There's not much to be done, but there's still something to be done. There is still something to be done. We want to do the verses. We want to do the final edit of the final verses of Goat vs. Fish. The final edit of Goat vs. Fish so we can post the Valentine's Day set live. On YouTube for your consumption. How far are you from Sunset Strip? Well, it depends on the time of the verses. You could say. But it takes Goat vs. Fish. It takes Goat vs. Fish about half a verses to get there. I used to live on an island. Tell us about it, Bud Morgan. Many used to was fish. Canada Rami. Have the fish gotten to your mind? What is the meaning of this to Goat vs. Fish? The whiskey of goat? Psycho Grandma 6 and eventually Gold. Big congregation members this verse is throwing down big verses in the congregation. Appreciation. There's some new technology that we're going to purchase for the studio of Goat vs. Fish. We are going to purchase a stereo splitter so we can turn one verses into a split verses of Goat and Fish. And this should allow for more use of the mixer of Goat vs. Fish, essentially expanding the mixer of Goat vs. Fish to accommodate more beautiful verses. We're going to remember these early verses soon. Soon there will be many Goat and Fish dropping billions of American dollars on Goat vs. Fish, but in these verses we remember Psycho Grandma 6. We especially remember Psycho Grandma 6 and eventually Gold, and we appreciate the 5 American dollar contribution from Dragon Balls. This verse is on their 5 years, 5 American dollars. Goats are master chess players. If that's true, then why is one of the premier chess computers called Stockfish? Didn't think Goat vs. Fish would pull that one out, huh? You've never heard of Stockfish? Stockfish is arguably the premier chess-playing fence bot, but it's actually not a fence at all, it's a fish. It's a fish. It's a fish. It's a stock of fish. It's fish stonks. You can look up fish stonks. What about this? How do you like this? What if a Goat vs. Fish just whispered to you like this? What if we had a whisperly verses? We got real close like this. And we had a Goat vs. Fish whisper time. Would this be pleasing to you? Would this be pleasing to the congregation to have Goat vs. Fish whisper time? Whisper talking, whisper, late night whispers with Goat vs. Fish. Or we could do this verses. No, we don't like that verses. That verses isn't any fun. Late night whispers with Goat vs. Fish. 1877 whisper fish. We've got hot goats in your area. Goat whispers. One hour of walking about. We've almost done it. That's one way to keep Goat vs. Fish healthy, wealthy, and wise, is to make sure that we get these walks. We walk with you. We enjoy walking with you, congregation. We enjoy walking with you. It's just something we have to do. Sometimes Goat vs. Fish feels like, oh, we don't know. Do we really want to walk around the congregation grounds? Oh, we tire. But as soon as we start moving about, we get that feeling of invigoration. We think all this walking about will lead to a longer life of Goat vs. Fish. For you and for the goat and the fish. And don't you want to live a longer life? A longer life to longer celebrate Goat vs. Fish? So if you can go for a walk, go for a swim. It is a strong recommendation. You can scroll through the Instagram and the social media, and you can see big, beautiful, strong ones. And you can say, I'm never going to achieve that, and perhaps you shan't. But if you just take a walk, take a swim, you will find the rewards are immense. It is something to do. It is something to do. What's going on in tomorrow's verses? We're thinking that we will do... GoatVsFish is thinking that we will start off in a fairly standard morning motivational. And then perhaps in the morning motivational, maybe we'll have some shrine time. We'll have some shrine time in the morning motivational. We'll go to the shrine time, but it will be very active shrine time. It will be GoatVsFish speaking to the congregation, responding to every verses, all eyes on the congregation, shrine time. And we'll have Sunshine playing some ambient verses as we admire the shrine of GoatVsFish and have a little conversation. So we have some meditation shrine time on Tuesday's verses. And then perhaps we'll cover some news of GoatVsFish. Run some polls. Meditation indeed. You haven't done rump-shaking motivation in a while. That's true. Well, remind us, and that's what we'll do. Remind us, and we'll bring back the rump-shaking motivation. Yes, it's true. We've done the morning celebrations, but we haven't done rump-shaking motivation in a few verses, so we'll bring that back. Thank you for reminding GoatVsFish of all of these segments. Yes, I'm a verses to be. Yes, I'm a verses to be. And I'm hoping golden fish will find me. 'Cause there's a lot of fence-sitters. GoatVsFish. Yes, I'm a verses to be. Yes, I'm a verses to be. And I'm hoping golden fish will find me. 'Cause there's a lot of fence-sitters who just won't do no choosing. And if you're a fence-sitter, there's no winning or losing. 'Cause that's only for the goat and fish. We did that once at Flappers Comedy Club. Some say GoatVsFish is a parody of a parody. All right, tomorrow I will remind you to shake it like how you want us to, so we can grab scrollers' attention with our plushy butts, as you said. True. How do you do the wavy stomach move? That's an ancient secret of GoatVsFish. That is just something we do. That is just something GoatVsFish has always known how to do. It's just something we've always known how to do, like this verses. Like this verses here. The tongue twisters. GoatVsFish tongue twisters. Does something live inside there? Yes. But we think if you thought about that, you would already have known that. Fish have gray fins. Some do. This has been 1 hour of walking around with GoatVsFish. Your watching of GoatVsFish makes an epic contribution to the watch hours of GoatVsFish with appreciation. GoatVsFish is now going to go live into the studio of GoatVsFish. And we are going to see if we can do a little editing of GoatVsFish while maintaining the shrine. How about that? So, this has been a vertical versus of GoatVsFish, but there will be more GoatVsFish 2 verses coming up in a celebration, appreciation Appreciation to all the congregation of Goat vs. Fish, and celebration to Dragon Balls 325 for the $5 American dollar contribution, and 5 years of Goat vs. Fish. And it was written, and it was written.